Today, we will go over spending 7 days in Japan with only $500. Here's an interesting fact. 47% of Americans said they couldn't travel this year because they couldn't afford it. Now let's be honest, with everything going on in our countries, lives, and communities, we could all use a break, some time to unwind and explore the unknown. Most people spend their whole lives using excuses to never visit places they have always wanted to go. They think they will never be able to afford them. That's why I make these videos, to show you that it is possible to travel to places you want to go on a small budget. So give me a thumbs up if that is okay with you. You might not be able to visit the most expensive restaurant or the largest theme parks, but you will be able to have a great time, widen your perspective, and create everlasting memories. Now, this doesn't include your flight or hotel because, let's be real, everyone has different accommodations, needs, and budgets for that. But don't worry, we got you covered. We'll drop some knowledge bombs on snagging dirt-cheap flights and hostels that won't break the bank. We're talking ramen profitable, people. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on an epic adventure through the land of the rising sun, and trust me, it's gonna be lit. Stick with me and you'll be saying konnichiwa to savings and sayonara to that empty wallet. Let's do this. First, let's talk about travel. No matter what city you are in, there is no question that the best way to get around Japan is to use public transportation. Japan offers an inexpensive and robust system, and punctuality is taken very seriously. In Tokyo, you'll find one of the world's best train systems, pricing from $1 to $2 depending on how many kilometers you wish to travel. Pricing in Kyoto is slightly simplified, as you can spend $7 for a one-day unlimited bus subway pass or just $5 for unlimited subway use. So let's just say $10 per day times 7 days. That would automatically deduct $70 from our total for travel. First things first, we gotta make the most of our time in Tokyo. And luckily for you, this city's got a whole lot of free stuff to offer. We're talking sights, sounds, and experiences that won't cost you a single yen. First up, the Imperial Palace. This place is massive, sprawling gardens, historic buildings, the whole 9 yards. And the best part? It's totally free to wander around and soak up the atmosphere. Trust me, you'll feel like an emperor yourself strolling through those gardens. Next up, we're hitting up Harajuku, the epicenter of all things trendy and out there. This place is a visual feast, with crazy fashion, colorful street art, and enough people watching to last you a lifetime. And the best part is, just walking around and soaking up the energy is completely free. You might be tempted to drop some cash on some funky clothes or crazy snacks, but hey, window shopping is free, right? Okay, so we've covered some awesome free stuff, but all that walking is gonna work up an appetite, right? Don't worry, we're not about to send you to some fancy pants restaurant. We're all about that budget-friendly food scene. First up, convenience stores. I know what you're thinking. Convenience store food? Trust me on this one. Japanese convenience stores are on another level. We're talking delicious onigiri, steaming hot ramen, and a mind-boggling selection of snacks for dirt cheap. And if you're looking for something a little more substantial, hit up one of the many street food stalls scattered around the city. You can score some killer takoyaki, yakitori, or even some good old-fashioned ramen for just a few hundred yen. Overall, you should spend around $61 today. Of this, around 40 will be on food, leaving 20 for souvenirs, clothing, or anything else you want. All right, day 2, let's do this. Today, we're diving headfirst into Tokyo's spiritual side. And no, I'm not talking about finding enlightenment at the bottom of a sake bottle, though that's an option too. We're heading to Asakusa, home to the legendary Sensoji Temple. This place is the oldest temple in Tokyo, and it's absolutely breathtaking, with towering gates, intricate carvings, and an atmosphere that just screams ancient wisdom. And the best part? It's totally free to enter and wander around. Now, you might be tempted to drop some cash on incense or lucky charms, but hey, the real treasure is the peace and tranquility you'll find here. Just remember to be respectful. This is a place of worship after all. So you've explored the temple, you've soaked up the spiritual vibes, now it's time to talk souvenirs. And no, I'm not talking about those cheesy I Heart Tokyo t-shirts you see everywhere. We're about to find you some unique and affordable souvenirs that won't make your wallet cry. Right next to the temple is Nakamise Shopping Street, a bustling market that's been around for centuries. You'll find everything here from traditional crafts and snacks to quirky trinkets and souvenirs. The key here is to bargain, people. Don't be afraid to haggle a little, especially if you're buying multiple items. Trust me, the vendors expect it, and you'll be surprised at how much you can save. Remember, every yen counts when you're traveling on a budget, so go forth and find those hidden gems. Today, you should spend around $80 in the market. You can spend less, but make sure to enjoy yourself. All right, people, day 3 in the land of the rising sun, and we're catching a bullet train to Kyoto. Yeah, you heard that right, the Shinkansen. This ain't your grandpa's Amtrak. This thing flies. We're talking 300 kilometers per hour, which is like crazy fast. I'm talking about a smooth ride, folks. We're zipping past rice paddies, mountains popping up like happy little accidents, and the whole time I'm thinking, this is it. This is the Japan I came for. The blend of old and new, the speed, the efficiency, it's mind-blowing. And the best part? It's all covered by the Japan Rail Pass. Boom! Saved you a ton of yen right there. This pass is a lifesaver, especially for budget travelers like us. Trust me, get yourself one. Now, we're not just going to Kyoto to gawk at trains, although that's pretty tempting. Kyoto is like stepping back in time. Ancient temples, traditional gardens, geishas, the whole 9 yards. Get ready to be transported, people. First stop, Fushimi Inari Shrine. This place is legendary. Thousands of these bright orange gates, called torii gates, winding up a mountain. It's like walking into a dream, a totally surreal experience. I'm talking about a sea of orange, people. You gotta see it to believe it. Each gate is donated by a business, kind of like a good luck charm. And let me tell you, there are a lot of businesses hoping for good luck in Japan. Walking through those gates, you can't help but feel the energy, the history. It's humbling, you know? Like you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And for a guy who spends most of his time glued to a screen, that's a pretty powerful feeling. But listen, it's not just about the gates. The hike up the mountain is an adventure in itself. Beautiful scenery, little shops selling street food, you might even spot a wild fox, which are considered messengers of the gods. No joke. Today, you should spend around $41 to make sure you are fed and properly hydrated for your walk up the mountain. Day 4, and we're off to Nara, baby, home of the friendliest deer you'll ever meet. I'm talking about deer roaming free in the park, chilling with tourists. They're practically celebrities. But don't let their cute little faces fool you, these deer are hungry. And they know how to work the system. They'll bow to you for crackers, they'll nudge you with their noses, they'll even try to steal your map. I'm not even kidding, one of these guys tried to make off with my camera bag. I guess that's what I get for trying to film with a mouthful of deer crackers. Pro tip, keep your snacks close, people. Look, I know what you're thinking, deer are cool and all, but what about the culture? Don't worry, Nara's got you covered. We're talking ancient temples, traditional gardens, the whole shebang. Speaking of temples, you haven't lived until you've seen Todai-ji Temple. This place is massive, home to one of the largest bronze Buddha statues in the world. I'm talking about a statue so big you could fit a whole apartment building inside. You walk in, and it's just this overwhelming sense of peace and tranquility. The air is thick with incense, the light filtering in through the windows, and there's this giant Buddha, just chilling, watching over everyone. It makes you feel small, you know? But in a good way. Like all your worries and anxieties just melt away. But Todai-ji isn't just about the big guy. The whole temple complex is incredible. Beautiful gardens, intricate carvings, even a giant wooden pillar with a hole in it. Legend has it, if you can squeeze through the hole, you'll be granted good luck. Guess who got stuck? Today, you show up and also spend around $41. Just make sure you can feed yourself and the deer, of course. Enjoy the sights, take pictures, and make memories. Day 5, and we're off to Osaka, the energetic little sibling of Tokyo. This city is a whirlwind of bright lights, delicious food, and friendly locals. And the best part? It's way more affordable than Tokyo. First stop, Osaka Castle. Now, this ain't your typical sleepy castle. This place has seen it all: wars, fires, you name it. It's been destroyed and rebuilt multiple times, kind of like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Talk about resilience. But the real magic happens when you climb to the top. You get this panoramic view of the entire city, skyscrapers as far as the eye can see. It's a reminder that even though Osaka has a rich history, it's also a city that's constantly evolving, pushing boundaries. And speaking of pushing boundaries, let's talk about the food. Osaka is known as Japan's kitchen for a reason, people. We're talking about takoyaki, okonomiyaki, kushikatsu, all kinds of crazy deliciousness. Get ready to loosen your belts, folks. Now, if you want to experience the true heart and soul of Osaka, you gotta hit up Dotonbori. This place is sensory overload in the best way possible. Neon lights flashing, giant mechanical crabs moving, street food vendors calling out their wares. I'm talking about a feast for the senses. The smell of grilling octopus, the sound of laughter and conversation, the sight of thousands of people crammed into these narrow streets. It's chaotic, it's exhilarating, it's pure Osaka. And the best part? You can eat your way through Dotonbori without breaking the bank. Street food is king here, and trust me, it's some of the best food you'll ever have in your life. I'm talking about melt-in-your-mouth takoyaki, savory okonomiyaki, skewered meats grilling over charcoal. Look, I know what you're thinking. You've eaten your way through this entire trip, and you'd be right. But hey, when in Osaka, right? Plus, I gotta keep my energy up for all the exploring we're doing. Today, you should spend up to $81 trying new food and enjoying yourself. Make time to do something you have never tried. You never know, you might love it. All right, people, it's day 6 and we're back in Tokyo. We've conquered Kyoto, owned Osaka, now it's time to dive back into this city. And what better way to start the day than with the freshest seafood you can imagine? We're talking about Tsukiji Outer Market. This place is a sensory overload in the best way possible. Imagine walking down narrow streets, the smell of grilled fish and spices hitting you in the face. Vendors calling out, tourists and locals alike buzzing around, trying to find the best deals. It's electric. And the best part? You can eat like a king without breaking the bank. We're talking unbelievably fresh sushi, bowls overflowing with seafood, grilled skewers, you name it. Just walking around and soaking it all in is an experience in itself. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. So we've had our fill of amazing seafood, but the day's not over yet. We're jumping on the train because Tokyo never sleeps and neither do we. This city's all about contrasts, right? Tradition and futurism colliding, and there's no better example of that than Odaiba. Odaiba is like stepping into a sci-fi movie. Giant robots, towering buildings, neon lights everywhere. But the main attraction? The Rainbow Bridge. This thing is iconic, especially when it lights up at night. We're talking a photo op for the ages, people. And while you're there, check out the futuristic side of Tokyo. Museums dedicated to technology, giant Gundam statues, arcades that'll make your head spin. It's a full-on sensory experience, and that's what we're here for, right? Remember, Tokyo's massive, but with a little planning and a lot of energy, you can experience the best of both worlds. From ancient temples to futuristic cities, this city's got it all. Today, you should be spending $51. Eat light and spend your time having fun. All right, guys, day 7, the final countdown. We've been running non-stop, but before we hit that airport, we gotta soak up some more of that Japanese culture. And there's no better place for that than the Tokyo National Museum. Now, I know what you're thinking, a museum? On a budget? Hear me out. This place is huge, it's beautiful, and it's a deep dive into Japanese art and history. We're talking ancient samurai armor, delicate scrolls, intricate wood carvings. Plus, after a week of temples and shrines, it's a different perspective on Japanese spirituality and artistry. And yeah, the museum's not free, but trust me, it's worth every yen. It's a chance to reflect on everything we've experienced this past week. Last day in Tokyo wouldn't be complete without a little retail therapy, right? But we're not talking about your average souvenir shops. We're heading to Akihabara, the mecca of all things anime, manga, and gaming. Imagine Times Square, but instead of Broadway shows, it's giant screens playing the latest anime. Instead of souvenir shops, it's floor-to-ceiling shelves packed with manga, figurines, and collectibles. It's a geek paradise, and I'm here for it. Even if you're not a die-hard anime fan, Akihabara is an experience. The energy is insane, the colors are blinding, and the sheer variety of stuff is mind-blowing. Plus, you can find some amazing deals on electronics, games, and those weird Japanese snacks we all love. So, we're ending our trip on a high note, fueled by Japanese candy and surrounded by giant robots. It's been a wild ride, but we conquered Japan on a budget, proving that adventure doesn't have to break the bank. We spent $487. Spend the last $13. Throughout the days, however you see fit. Let me know in the comments if there's another place I should make a budget video about. If you need tips and tricks on how to get cheaper flights and places to stay, click on the video on the screen now. Subscribe to never let anything stop you from your goals. Visit everywhere you like with a proper plan.